Have you ever looked into the mirror one morning and wondered, where did my hair go? You didn't cut it, you didn't change anything, but somehow overnight, it feels like your hair quietly slipped away, like it packed up its bags, said thank you and goodbye, and left your scalp without a proper warning. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not doing anything wrong. Hi there, beautiful, welcome. If you're a woman in your 60s or beyond, and your once full hair is now thinning, flattening, or simply feeling a little less you, this video is for you. Because today we're talking about 6 haircut shifts that every older woman should know, and I promise you, these aren't trendy TikTok tips. These are timeless, tested changes that can completely transform the way your hair looks and how you feel in the mirror. From choosing the right kind of layers, to one small parting mistake that could be making your scalp look balder than it really is, we're uncovering the truths nobody told us about hair after 60. And I'm not here to sell you potions or preach about youth. I'm here to walk beside you as a woman who's been there, with thinning temples and a drawer full of old mousse bottles, to help you reclaim the elegance and ease that your hair truly deserves. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? I love hearing from women across the globe. And if you haven't already, tap subscribe and turn on that little bell icon. We've got new videos each week, filled with real talk, real tips, and real beauty after 60. Now take a breath, relax your shoulders, and maybe grab a cup of tea. Because what we're about to explore might just change how you feel about your hair and maybe, just maybe, about yourself. Let's begin with the first subtle mistake I made for years and how you can skip it entirely. 1. The layer trap, when more becomes less. Before we get into it, have you ever thought your stylist misunderstood your request for volume and gave you a haircut that looked like it went through a paper shredder instead? That was me for years. I'd go to the salon with high hopes and say, I need volume, please add layers. It felt like the smart thing to do. After all, layers equal lift, right? That's what we were told in every magazine for decades. But the truth is, what works for thick, bouncy hair in your 30s doesn't always translate when you're over 60, and your hair is whisper thin and more delicate than ever. I remember walking out of a salon one summer afternoon, fresh haircut, breeze in the air, and suddenly realizing my ends were floating away like wisps of cotton candy. My crown was flat, my sides looked hollow, and the supposed volume vanished faster than my patience with drugstore mousse. That was the day I learned a hard truth. Too many layers on thinning hair actually take volume away, not add it. See, layers remove weight. And when your hair is already light, cutting it into even smaller pieces makes it harder for the shape to hold. You're left with stringy tips, uneven fall, and a desperate need for styling products to hold it all together. So what works better? Cuts with clean structure and minimal layering, styles that retain shape instead of relying on tricks to fake it. A soft, blunt bob that frames the jaw, a long pixie with fullness at the crown, or a slightly angled cut that hugs your face, these do wonders. They don't scream, look at my hair, but they do quietly whisper, I've still got it. And let's clear something up. Blunt doesn't mean boring. It doesn't mean flat. It means smart, sculpted, and modern. It means giving your hair the visual weight it needs to look alive again. Think of it as supporting your hair, instead of slicing it into pieces and hoping for the best. Sometimes, less really is more, especially when it comes to layers. 2. The deep side part dilemma, a sneaky scalp revealer. Let me paint a picture. Have you ever tried to cover a thinning patch with a dramatic side part, only to realize it looked more like a landslide than a solution? Guilty right here. I remember one morning, running late for brunch, I caught a glimpse of my crown in the mirror. A patch near my temple looked sparser than usual. My reflex. Sweep my hair over with a deep side part and fluff it a little. Done, or so I thought. Later that day, in natural sunlight, harsh, unforgiving sunlight, I caught a photo someone took of me from the side, and there it was. A glaring stripe of scalp cutting through my hairstyle like a highway through a forest. That glamorous swoop I thought I was pulling off. It betrayed me. What I didn't know then, and what many of us don't realize, is that a deep side part can make thinning even more obvious. When hair is unevenly distributed, especially when one side bears all the weight, it pulls everything away from the crown and temples. Instead of covering the sparse areas, it actually magnifies them. Here's where the magic happens. Switch to a soft zigzag part or a slightly off-center one. These partings break up the visual line, interrupt the contrast between hair and scalp, and most importantly, they give the illusion of volume. The eye doesn't settle on a bald spot. It moves with the shape, the texture, the flow. Suddenly, you're not highlighting your scalp, you're framing your face. It might feel strange at first, especially if you've worn your part the same way for 20 or 30 years. But give your hair a chance to shift and reset. You'll be surprised what a gentle redirection can do. Hair, like life, sometimes just needs a little change in perspective. 3. The helmet hair hangover. Why structure is always strength. Quick question: when was the last time your hair bounced when you moved? Or better yet, when was the last time your hair didn't feel like a plastic sculpture after you styled it? I know that urge to keep every strand in place. We think, my hair's already thin, I can't afford for it to move out of place. So we reach for hairspray, mousse, sculpting gel, maybe even the same ones we used back in 1987. If it's still in your cabinet, it's probably expired and judgmental. The problem is, stiff hair doesn't look strong, it looks frozen, like a mannequin, like a shell. And here's the cruel twist. The more we try to hold our hair in place, the more obvious its sparseness becomes. Structured styles add bulk, but not movement. They hide our natural texture under a layer of lacquer. And worse, they draw attention to the places where hair is missing, not thriving. I used to think structure meant elegance, but true elegance is movement. Soft flips, gentle waves, a tousled pixie you can fingerstyle in 30 seconds. These are the styles that look alive, feminine, fresh. When your hair moves, it reflects light. It frames your expressions. It joins the moment, instead of sitting on top of your head like a helmet. Next time you're at the salon, ask for a cut that includes movement, built-in texture that lets your hair breathe. And if you're still using a hairspray that could double as wall adhesive, sweetheart, it's time to let it go. Trade stiffness for softness. Trade control for confidence. Because at this stage in life, you've earned the right to move freely, and your hair should too. 4. The hair washing mistake. When clean means too clean. Tell me honestly, have you ever stepped out of the shower, hair squeaky clean, but somehow it still looked limp, dry, or even older than before? I did, for decades. There was a time in my life when I believed clean meant fresh, and fresh meant beautiful. So I washed my hair every single day, sometimes even twice when it was humid or when I had dinner plans and wanted to reset my look. And yes, I did it with pride. That squeaky clean feeling, I thought it was proof that I was taking care of myself. But here's what nobody warned me. After 60, your scalp changes drastically. The oil glands slow down. Your hair's natural shine and elasticity reduce not because you're doing something wrong, but because your biology is simply aging, gracefully, I might add. So when you scrub daily, you're not refreshing your hair. You're stripping away the few precious natural oils your scalp still produces. Those oils, they're your hair's best friend now. They give life, moisture, and natural bounce. Without them, strands become brittle, they break, and your scalp starts to itch, flake, and feel tight, like it's begging for mercy under all that lather. When I finally scaled back to washing just 2 or 3 times a week, I was nervous. I expected grease, I expected flatness, but what I got instead was volume, softness, a scalp that felt calm and balanced. On off days, I freshen up with a bit of dry shampoo at the roots or do a gentle co-wash. just conditioner, no shampoo. It resets my style without stripping it down. And guess what? The more I relaxed, the more my hair responded. We don't need to be squeaky clean to feel elegant. Clean doesn't always mean healthy. And freedom from the old routine, that's the real luxury of aging. 5. The brush myth. Why 100 strokes are 90 too many. Here's a question from the past. Remember being told to brush your hair 100 times before bed for beauty and shine. Ever wonder if your hair secretly dreads that nightly ritual? Let me take you back. When I was a girl, I used to sit in front of the mirror and brush, 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 because my mother told me that's what a lady does. She learned it from her mother, and it was as sacred as a prayer. And it worked when I had thick, youthful hair, but now not so much. After 60, our strands become more fragile, finer, and more vulnerable to damage. The hair shaft is thinner and the follicles less productive. And that vigorous brushing we thought was a beauty secret, it becomes a silent thief. Each stroke can stretch the hair, weaken it, and even pull it out at the root, especially when it's dry or tangled. I once brushed so aggressively that my part line looked like a freshly plowed field. No joke. Here's what I do now. I use a wide-tooth comb and a gentle leave-in conditioner. I start at the ends, slowly detangling upward, like I'm caring for a delicate silk scarf, not trying to tame a wild beast. Some days I don't brush at all. I just tousle with my fingers and my hair. It thanks me by staying stronger, shinier, and yes, more present on my head. You don't need 100 strokes a night. You just need kindness to your hair and to yourself. So if brushing your hair has started to feel like a chore or a battle, maybe it's time to retire the brush and embrace the soft touch. Your hair is not a project. It's a living part of you that's asking to be loved, not polished. 6. The color trap. When holding on ages you more. What if the color you've been clinging to all these years, the same one that made you feel youthful, is now quietly draining the life out of your look? I know that sounds harsh. But let me explain. For years, I chased my old hair color like it was a long-lost friend. Every 4 or 5 weeks, I'd march into the salon and ask for the same thing, same shade, maybe a little darker. But I believed deep down that if I just held onto that rich espresso brown I wore in my 40s, I could hold onto everything else that came with it. Energy, youth, maybe even a few compliments. But over time, I began to notice something strange. The color looked harsher, my hair looked flatter, and most painfully, it looked fake, like a heavy blanket over my head, hiding the light instead of reflecting it. That's when I learned the secret. Dark colors absorb light, while lighter tones reflect it, creating softness, movement, and the illusion of volume. When your hair is thinning, a deep, solid color can act like a spotlight on every sparse patch. But softer tones, highlights, and root blending techniques, they create dimension. They lift, they shine, they frame the face without screaming for attention. And no, going lighter doesn't mean giving up. It means tuning in to what your hair is asking for now, not 20 years ago. Think of it this way. Wearing the same hair color forever is like refusing to update your glasses prescription. Sure, they technically still work, but they don't help you see the beauty in front of you anymore. Today, I wear a warm blend of honey and silver, and I've never felt more me. It doesn't hide who I am, it highlights it. And that, dear friend, is what aging gracefully is all about. After 60, our hair doesn't just change, it speaks. Sometimes in whispers, sometimes in silence. And what it's saying isn't, you're losing beauty, but rather, it's time to see yourself differently. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the quiet truths, the myth of layers, the danger of overwashing, the trap of holding on too tightly to old styles and colors. But more than that, we've discovered something powerful. That beauty at this stage of life doesn't shout, it shines. It's softer, wiser, more intentional. And when we let go of what no longer works, we make room for something far more authentic. You haven't lost your glow, you're just learning to light it from within. If this message spoke to you, even just a little, I invite you to click the like button to let me know we're walking this path together. Leave a comment with the city you're watching from. I truly love hearing your stories. And if you'd like more real talk, gentle advice, and honest beauty for life after 60, don't forget to subscribe. You're not becoming less. You're becoming more of who you were always meant to be. And friend, that is beautiful.